You're listening to the Fortnite Community Podcast with your hosts, TwoLoud TX and Nolxero.
What up, and welcome to the Fortnite Community Podcast. I am your host, TwoLoud TX, aka Troy, and I'm here with the one, the only, the 1 HP killer, returns to Fortnite. Nolxero. What's going on, bro?
Not much, man. A lot of Monster Hunter, that's for sure. A lot of Monster Hunter.
You have been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. You've been enjoying it, so props to those guys. I know we mentioned it last week, but they got a good game in your hands, which is fun. If you guys know or have figured it out, Nolxero obviously plays a lot of different types of games, including RPGs he loves. And when he finds one he loves it.
That's true. I just... I know this is a Fortnite podcast, but I just want to give kudos to Capcom bringing out a game that's not filled with loot boxes and DLC and all this paid extra crap. Kudos to them. I really give it up to them for that.
Yeah, props to them. I don't know the last time we actually gave props to Capcom in the 5 years we've been doing podcasts.
I just feel like it's necessary because 2017 was a really bad year for the loot box situation. There's a lot of companies that went out and did a bunch of loot boxes and all kinds of other stuff, and it kind of got ridiculous. EA, looking at you a little bit. So, I just think it's nice to go ahead and, Capcom probably never hear this show, probably doesn't care about what I think, but overall, this is more for the listeners. Anybody that's like, oh man, I really want to play a game that's not full of all this stuff. Well, there's one out there.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good grind game, definitely has great mechanics in it, good stuff, and you don't want to always play the PvP action. It's a great break for you, and it's a great game. So definitely go try it out if you guys are into RPGs and those type of games. It's a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk about what we really came to talk about.
That's Fortnite. We came to talk about some Fortnite, but before we jump into talking about Fortnite, I want to thank you guys, the listeners, so much for being around and giving us shout outs, the retweets you guys do, the nice and kind words that you guys say to us constantly. Thank you so much for that. And with that said, we got a few iTunes reviews to shout out, guys, real quick. And I'll get through these as fast as I can. But false pretenses, enjoying the show. Keep up the good work. Loving Fortnite and loving the tips. It was great hearing I'm not the only one who took it a minute to get the PvE game. I'm not sure if I read that one before, but if I did, again, false pretenses. Shout out to you. Strict Legend. This game is probably one of the best games I've ever played in a while. Thanks for the awesome game. Well, I would love to take credit for the game, but it is not our game. We do not work for Epic. But I know some of the Epic guys.
You're welcome.
but I know some of the guys at Epic do listen to the show. So Strict Legends, I'm sure they appreciate it. It is an awesome game. We agree with you, and that's why we're here every week to fill your ears with Fortnite chatter. We do have Good Grief 17. Listen to the podcast every week. It's out while at work. Always keeps up to date with everything in the game. And gives good tips and staying alive and getting more kills in PvP. Thank you so much for that one. Mad Maximus 05. I love listening to this all the time. We love you, Mad Maximus, all the time. So thank you so much for that. Joseph, because he has like 5 F's at the end. Joseph. Just love hearing about Fortnite from people who enjoy the game as much as I do. Keep it up. Joe from VA. So for everybody that's out there, that's Virginia. And then, of course, the one, the only, if you heard him on last week, Cal the Anxious, says, love you guys. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be on the podcast. The content is always great for veteran Fortnite players and the Fortnite community. Keep doing your thing, and I will always be supporting you guys. So thanks, of course, Kyle, for coming on last week and doing a little squad show with us. Speak of Kyle, this one's followed up here. This one's titled "Would Be a 5, but Unlistenable." Whoever is slurping.
So what did he give us?
He gave us a 1 star, and he said, whoever is slurping sounds like smoking a vape or hookah is like nails on the chalkboard. It's good insight and talk back, but the random slurps destroy my ears and make your skin crawl. Sad, unsubscribed. So I will say to you, it is Weaker as his name. And I will say to you, hey man, thanks so much for checking out the podcast. I know you probably won't hear this now since you unsubscribed, but we do appreciate the feedback actually. And, Kyle was on last week. He was vaping maybe a little too close to his mic. So I apologize for everybody out there that had
He's not a seasoned podcaster, so it's bound to happen. So we kind of had to go over some rules.
Yeah, and one of the things we do, and we love to do, is you guys will see from time to time, we got actually an email this week as well from somebody, but from time to time, we love to have people from the community on, whether it's people we play with or our friends or whatever, just normal everyday players come on and talk Fortnite and give them a chance to kind of, talk about their perspective and what's going on, and maybe they share some of the things you guys have. And at times, you don't get the quality that we really want to have. And as you guys know, we've gone through some cycles here already trying to get the quality for you guys the best we can get it. And when that happens, we get some things like this that may annoy you a little bit. So all I'll say is when we have guests, just push through with us, guys. And, it's not going to be that constant sound each week. And Kyle knows now, if he comes on in the future, can't be sitting there vaping the whole time. So, or at least not in the mic, right? So,
yeah. I mean, the big thing here, if this guy comes back and listens, or if he hears this, we appreciate the feedback. We really do. And we like to try to take into consideration everybody's feedback and address the ones that are addressable or the ones that we feel like we should address. But when you say unsubscribe, it really, that tears our relationship apart because you're making a complaint and you're trying to help us improve, but then you're also saying, but I'm breaking up with you too.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, come on, man. Don't break up with us yet. Like, give us a chance. Like, it's not that bad, is it?
You said I was great. You said I looked so pretty. And then you just left me on the side of the road. Sounds like a high school relationship I had many times. Shout out to Logan, who also emailed this week. Basically, I won't read his whole email because words are hard and I'll mess it up plenty of times. But he just got out of college. A lot of his friends that he used to play with aren't playing games anymore. They're more focused on real life. Real life. No, I'm kidding.
Get a life and play some video games.
Get a life, play some more video games. But basically, he hit us up to say if we ever needed a fourth, to hit him up. Low Tech 4 LOTECH 4, the number, on PS4. So you guys hit him up. Well, I hit him up. We're actually friends now on PS4. And Logan, we'd love to play with you, man. Anytime you can.
And join the community, Logan, if you haven't already done so. There's plenty of people in there that are listeners. Some are close friends. A lot of good people playing in that community.
Yep. Also, last week we had some Podbean reviews as well. And we had one. Let's see if it tells me who it's from. Don't know, but it does say this in reference to the. I guess they're blaming the vaping on Brad. It says, "Awesome show. Tell Brad ? To stop sucking on that thing with a mic in front of him. So annoying." Well, it wasn't Brad. It was actually Kyle. So, but yeah. Kid Tech sent us an email. He said, "Loving your content, guys. Keep it up. I'd love if you guys did some commentary over some video with your podcast." So, hey, maybe doing some commentary on some video, David. You breaking down your videos. If you could kick your butt enough to get into it after all your work and kids and 5,000 other things you're doing, I know you will get around to it eventually. So hopefully you'll do that for him. So Kid Tech, Nolxero's on it. He's got it coming. It's just taking a little bit of time.
I can get a video out of commentary.
Yeah. He's got, and then we got one guy called Word It's Richie. So Word It's Richie, basically also throwing
like Word It's Richie.
Yeah,
like
Word It's Richie. Yeah. Okay. So his PSN is Word It's Richie, RICHIE. So you guys can hit him up as well. but he was saying that he'd love to talk with us about some Fortnite as well. And I replied to him, hey, man, we love to do this, as we did last week on our show with the squad members. We love to get, from time to time, do a roundtable with community people and people in the chat. So if you guys are jumping on PS4, if you're playing with us, or if you're interested in being a part of a roundtable sometime, hey, shoot us an email. I'll put them away in a folder. And when we decide to do another roundtable, I'll kind of pick some of you guys and we'll rotate you in and out. And you can jump on here and chat with us. All we ask is that you have a microphone. You can jump in Discord. And
no vaping.
No vaping in the microphone or making annoying sounds. And then you can join us and we'll chat. And you can be on a show sometime. So we definitely want to do that. Look, this is a show for you guys. It's for fans, obviously, and by the community, for the community. So we definitely want you guys to be a part of it, be the voice as well, and help us continue to grow. Thank you so much for all the feedback, although we joke about some of them, and even the 1 stars. We hear you, we understand, and we are going to do our best to keep making this show the best we can make it for you to enjoy and not have to turn off on your drive or your walk or while you're at work or whatever you're doing and enjoying, and you want to hear some more Fortnite. That's our goal for you to do each week. So keep those reviews coming. Keep the Podbean comments coming, guys. Really appreciate those. Anytime you guys hit us up, it helps us grow because essentially it makes it more aware for other people to see that we have a podcast about Fortnite. So definitely keep those coming. And big news, Nolxero. Are you ready for this? Drum roll.
Ready.
Give me a drum roll. Give me a drum roll.
You're the drummer here, but
there we go. All right, next week we are having MonsterDFace on, bro. So the YouTuber MonsterDFace, if you guys don't know him, go check him out.
Oh, he
is amazing. He does great tip videos, and he is who we've been highlighting in our tips for the past 3 weeks. And so we are going to have him on the show next week. So looking forward to that. So guys, make sure you don't miss next week's show. It's going to be amazing with MonsterDFace. And he's going to be breaking down tips in real time. Not like video, audio files that I've been clipping. Like, this is legit real time MonsterDFace in your face. Well, technically in your ears. But in your ears, it's going to be MonsterDFace in your
ear faces.
In your ear faces. For a whole episode. So guys, make sure you check that out. But without further ado, and before I forget this, glomtom.com. This episode is brought to you by glomtom.com. Glomtom, the place that you want to be whenever you want something in your lap, I guess. Sure, that works, right? When you want something in your lap, it's the place where you want to be. Glomtom.com. Use the code Fortnite for 5% off.
Club, whichever.
This episode should really be brought to you by Mountain Dew, Ice, and Dorito Blaze, because that's what's been in my mouth all day long. So,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. As soon as they cut those corporate checks, I'm down. Let's get them as sponsors.
Hey, I'm all down.
Actually, they don't even have to send a check. They can just send me free product.
Just send me free Mountain Dew, Ice. It's amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. If it was on the Super Bowl commercial tonight, it was really funny. It was a good commercial. You guys should have seen it. But yeah,
the Blaze commercial and the Mountain Dew Ice are both really good commercials.
Yeah, they're the quality Mountain Dew product, the juice of the gods. All right, until we get way sidetracked, let's go ahead and jump into some Fortnite. All right, so here we are. Once again, another week full of Fortnite news, bro. It just doesn't stop. But we had Mr. Eric Williamson on once more, so let's hear what he's got to say. What's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. Welcome back. Today we are talking about service issues, some limited time modes that are coming up, as well as shooting test number 1. Okay, guys, so we know we had some service issues recently, primarily around social and partying. We wanted to make good for those of you who experienced that. We're going to be giving 20 stars for our Battle Pass owners and 1,600 gold for our Save the World owners. We appreciate you sticking with us through this, and especially through early access, so thank you.
No, thank you, Eric. Thank you.
We've also received some feedback on the sniper shootout that it didn't make sense for us to add a revolver. I wanted to touch on that briefly. In our early playtest, we didn't have any close quarters weapons, so sniping someone who is 5 meters away from you felt really odd. We threw the revolver in there to combat that so that it felt like there was something you could do to a person who is right next to you. We'll evaluate that for future LTMs, but right now we think that's probably the best route to go. Additionally, we're exploring a blitz mode. We'll have more details to share on that LTM in the future. I've seen some questions as to why we're using squads for our limited time modes. A lot of folks saying, hey, I want that in solo, or I want that in duo. Our intent is that all of our LTMs can potentially be different playlists, but we'll determine what makes the most sense for the mode. Sneaky Silencers is an example that probably makes more sense as solo. So as we roll out more LTMs, we'll be evaluating what type of playlist to use. And lastly, we're also looking at trying to do an LTM somewhere in between squads and 50 versus 50. So as we have more details to share with that, we'll keep you guys updated. Okay, guys, we've talked in the past a lot about wanting to make improvements to our shooting. Today we have an update. We're going to be running a test to the shooting model as a limited time mode to gather feedback from all of our players. The hope is that eventually we can take some of these changes and put them into our default modes, so please give us your feedback. If you're curious about more details regarding the mode, check out the blog post for more information. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them on any of our social media channels, and we'll see you next time.
Well, thanks for being on, as always.
I mean, by this time, I mean, Eric might as well be like a co-host with us.
I'm telling you, we've been offering it. Come on, Eric.
So a lot of things there, guys. A lot of things. Obviously, to start out, service issues, the gifts they gave us for early access. I kind of heard a little bit of sarcasm in there. Did you? Like when he said, thanks for sticking with us through early access.
Yeah.
Maybe not at all, but I get it, right? Like, hey guys, expect some problems. This is early access, right? Like, it's going to happen. There's probably going to be more downtimes, but to suffice and take care of everybody, we're giving you basically 2 free levels on your battle pass and $1,600 in event bucks, essentially on Save the World side. I mean, is that sufficient, Nolxero? Did that make you happy?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think they needed to do anything, but I was in the minority there. If you went to Twitter and looked at what people were saying, I was like, well, okay, that's generous. But I mean, I honestly didn't feel like they needed to do anything. Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, dude, they do such a good job with the game. It's hard to be pissed at them.
Sorry, we messed up your game with a free update we were giving you.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Sure, we sound like fanboys. Yeah, am I a fanboy? I am a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not that angry, man. Like let's put it in perspective, right? Like it's a game. If it's a game you paid $60 for and it's down for a day, I understand you getting a little angry. But even if it's a game that's $60 and it's down for a day, and like they're giving you a free update, I don't know how much I can complain, man. I feel like we've been through those feelings before, and so I'm not saying the people that feel that way are completely wrong. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not either.
Put it in perspective a little bit, maybe.
I'm sure that there's something you could have done with your time that day. Maybe you didn't want to. Maybe you happen to take the day off just to sit around and play.
That would be tough. Yeah.
And instead of being able to do that, it was down, and I totally get it. That's happened to me.
We've been in that boat
before.
Yeah.
When Diablo 3 came out, I called or I didn't go to work the next day, and it was a mess, and I should have known. But whatever. For me, like I said, my biggest thing is like one thing that sent me over the edge was I saw on Twitter someone said that they said Epic is lazy, and I just didn't understand that sentiment. I was like, how so?
Yeah.
How is it that they're lazy? God, they do such a good job.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Free stuff. I mean, cool. I'm not complaining. I didn't necessarily think it was necessary, but I'll take it because they are a little overpriced in their shop, so I'll take it as a thing that says, hey, you know what? Because you have spent money in this overpriced shop, we'll give you a little bump here.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like I said, I wasn't mad. I do get why people are mad, but when you start
calm down a little bit.
Yeah, when you start like going towards like slander and like threats, you should probably chill a little bit on it. And here's the main thing. If you see that stuff on Twitter, don't retweet that garbage. Like, don't feed the monsters, please. Like, obviously, the best thing we can do for Epic and what we try to do here on the show, and sometimes you guys might disagree, like, you guys aren't negative enough, is like we're trying to help create a healthy community because, believe it or not, more things get done in a healthy community than in a negative one. So, we will share our frustration.
If anybody at Epic is reading your tweets and it's the tweet that says, hey, this was a minor inconvenience and maybe y'all could have done this or that, versus the, hey, go, drink bleach and die or something like that, I'm willing to bet they're probably going to listen to the guy that was like, hey, this kind of was inconvenient, but, this is maybe some way you can handle it next time.
For those of you that have had a chance to play and been playing the sniper shootout mode, how do you feel about this, Nolxero? I mean, he said in there, as we heard, Eric said that they added the revolver basically at, before they launched the mode at the end, after their internal testing, because they felt like they needed something for up close encounters. I feel, and we haven't actually talked about this, we mentioned it slightly. You told me you didn't really like the revolver in there. I think there does need to be some type of option for up close if you can't hit that no scope. But what about your axe, man? Like, can you just axe somebody to death real quick? Like,
I mean, maybe, but the thing about having a sniper only mode was the fact that it would be awesome to, like, you're gonna have to try to get the no scope. Sorry, it may be awkward, but that's kind of the point of the mode.
It would be funny
to be a little awkward.
Like when people are missing 10. Fun. The last two guys are missing like 10 shots, and the circle's closing. Like, who's gonna die first because they can't hit each other, and the circle's gonna end up closing and kill both of them, right?
Yeah, and because what happened is, like, so what I was expecting, this is exactly what I told you just the night before when we were playing it. I was expecting like some pretty epic like sniper battles.
Right.
What ended up happening is you have a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I can't maybe hit a snipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up on him. I'm going to have my dual revolvers, and I'm going to run up because why? Well, obviously, like he said, it's awkward to snipe at that close range. So if the guy's sitting there trying to snipe you, doesn't realize you're running up on him, or, lets you run up on him thinking he can get the shot, next thing you know, you're in his face. He can't snipe you, and it just makes this whole point of like that's became the end of the matches. It was like, oh well, now instead of actually being forced to have these really awesome snipe fights, it became a thing of, well, they're gonna sit there and revolver each other.
Right.
And that's what really disappointed me with the whole thing, was like I just really wanted some awesome sniping fights. I wanted some awesome snipe situations, and I felt like that's where the mode lacked. In a sniper mode.
Can we go in there tonight though and just try to axe people to death? Like, how many people can't snipe us or hit us with a revolver?
That'd be terrible, but definitely try.
Dude, that would be so funny. I mean, I bet we could kill quite a bit of people though. I bet you'd be amazed how many people we could kill. And then just like going around them in circle, double hitting them with the axes, what it would do. Because you're pretty quick if two people are hitting you with an axe.
Yeah, you can. What's even worse when you're in squats and 4 people are hitting you with an axe.
Yeah.
Puts you down quick.
Yeah. Real quick. For all those people that didn't get it, yes, LTM, limited time modes. They have different playlists, obviously, coming. They're going to, bring back some of the other ones, but it sounds like they're going to be changing them away from squads only. For instance, the one that Eric mentioned.
Possibly.
Yeah, one that Eric mentioned that would probably be cool or a good idea or whatever, whatever context that was in, was the silence mode, right? Like bringing that back as a solo queue. I I think you'll probably see these on rotation, right? You probably see it come back as a duo, probably see it come back as a solo. Wherever it's going to get more play, that's probably where, when we turn around in 6 months, we're going to see it come around most at that, that type of playlist or I guess that player count. But we'll see. The other thing that I don't know if you caught, though, that I want to talk about here is he said a mode between 50 versus 50 and squad mode.
Right.
Wouldn't that be 25 versus 25 versus 25 versus 25?
Well, maybe it's something similar to that. Maybe it's,
So, it sounds like a multiple large team mode.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you're probably right with that.
Dude, how awesome would it be if they literally dropped you?
Because I know some people have seen that. Or I think everybody's seeing that right now.
I haven't seen it.
No, I'm not talking about the actual game mode, but I'm talking about how, our Quest are saying Blitz mode. A complete games of Blitz mode.
Yeah.
So I think, plenty of people have been inquiring as to, hey, what is this Blitz mode? So maybe that's part of what they're talking about there. And maybe that's what we're looking at. I don't know. 25 versus 25 versus 25 versus 25 might be cool. I don't expect it to be much different than 50 versus 50, but it'd be an interesting take on that.
Can we call it quarter mode? Or 1/4? I don't know. What would you call it? You can't call it 25 versus 25 versus 25 versus 25, right? This is too long of a name.
It's a pretty long name. Probably not a good marketing name.
Yeah, not the easiest.
What's your premier mode?
Come play 25 versus
25 versus 25 versus 25 versus 25. Just keep going.
Yeah. So we'll see, but that would be really cool. I think like a cool large team mode would be pretty sweet, man. Like multiple squads, multiple teams. It'd be fun if that happens.
What?
If we could actually get a bunch of teams to queue up at the same time from the Fortnite Community Podcast community on PS4.
Oh yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
And
I'd actually like to see a way. Oh, well, I guess it's private matches. I can't wait till private matches come out.
Private matches. When that happens, by the way, interruption to our normal conversation, we bring you news for the future. We will be doing tons of custom big games together when that stuff comes out. So guys, make sure you join the PS4 group because we post a message.
We have ideas, all kinds of ideas for that stuff, shoutcasting, some player tournaments between, listeners and stuff like that. I mean, we have ideas.
Yeah, fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff. So definitely come join us. We love to jack around and try stuff. So, make sure you hang out with us.
Talk to Glom Time. Maybe we could throw a little, community tournament and give it a couple.
Give away a Glom Tom. There you go. That'd be a good idea. Although I want to win it. I might need a new one.
Well, I mean, we'll win. The illusion.
We win. So who won your last tournament in the Community Fortnite Podcast? Or Fortnite Community Podcast? I can't even talk. Who won your last tournament? Oh, well, actually, believe it or not, Nolxero won. Sounds a little rigged. I know.
I don't have a Glom Tom yet.
It's true.
I have to win.
You have to win. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what modes they come out with. It'll be pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Since the last time we talked, we had version 2.4.0 up and running. And so quite a bit of stuff there, guys. As always, go to Fortnite.com. Under the news tab, you can check out all the latest patch notes and update info there. But basically, this was the big one that brought the minigun. And so super excited to try that out this week. And we both got our hands on it. And we had actually a really good time playing with it, which we'll break down here in just a second. But some of the other things to quickly note, besides the minigun here, was the suppressed pistol, which we love so much, reduced the drop chance from the epic variant by 20%. That's pretty big. And reduced the drop chance of the legendary variant by 33%. So like a third.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to me because I didn't feel like it was dropping all that much. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But it didn't feel like it was dropping too often. I think it's very powerful. And maybe that's why. Maybe people were realizing just how powerful it was. And based off that power level, maybe that was like, this is way too powerful to be given out as much as we're giving out.
Yeah. I mean, I know I love that gun. I always have a trouble like, what am I gonna drop? You know, when you find that sniper or that rocket launcher, and you're like, I don't really want to drop my pistol, but I guess I have to.
That's kind of the problem I have with it, though, for the most part, as far as like bringing that chance down.
Yeah,
is it's so good in the early game, and it's a lot harder to justify later in the game.
right.
So it's like, do we get rid of that chance? I don't know. I don't know if it's a great idea, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. One of the other things that they did add was the auto run feature, which we found very useful this week, actually. We had been using it, and then actually, what was it, last night? We were like, auto run, and believe it or not, throwback to earlier in the podcast, it provided an opportunity for Kyle to vape while running now, and we're running long distances. It was funny. It was ironic in a way. That this solved an issue, but it was.
Well, it's also nice that to have it to kind of give your fingers a break, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all seasoned gamers here. Let's be honest, but it is nice, especially on some binge, nights when you're playing 4, 5, 8 hours straight. Like to have that moments that where you can like kind of breathe and be like, okay. Like my thumb can feel normal again and reattached.
Yeah. I always feel like I noticed the other day when I'm playing with my controller, I'm actually, as my left thumb keeps going up and up and sliding off, I use my right thumb to kind of hold it in place and then reposition my left thumb. I noticed I was doing this and I was like, wow, that's super weird. And that was when I was like, auto run. Oh yeah, forgot I could do that. Actually helps out, so try it out. Obviously, you can't like look to the side and run at the same time because that requires multiple angles with your thumbsticks. But on console, at least,
for the purpose of what you're using it for, I think it's really good, especially when you have those long treks and you kind of maybe dropped in an area that wasn't so popular. It's nice because then you can just kind of auto run and pay
circles
what you're
all
doing.
The way across the map. Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a great feature. And you can use it while you're skydiving.
And you can use it while you build. So if you're like you're building a long platform up to a hill or something, you can actually use that. Really cool feature. I thank those guys for adding that. And you can disable it and enable it in your options. So if you guys want to turn it off in case you don't have to, or in case you double click a lot and you don't mean to, obviously you can go there and change it. There's quite a bit of options they actually added in there. So if you haven't gone and looked at your setting options in a while, make sure you do that. You can actually like really fine tune now your sensitivity level. Although you have like the whole number, there's like sensitivity levels between there. So like you can be a 6, but you don't have to be like all the way at the top of level 6. You can be towards the bottom of level 6. Right out of the 5s or whatever. So make sure you go in there and adjust that. You can, on console at least, I noticed, you can really fine tune that now. So go check that out if you haven't. There's some other options we use a lot of times, like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, about the uncapped frame rate that we're using on our PS4s. Haven't really seen an issue with it, especially with the new update. Looks awesome. So I think we have less problems with it now than we did before.
Yeah, absolutely have less than we did before. I got to be real honest. I don't understand like how you play this game without it. It's so much
with
better.
Capped frame rate on.
Yeah, like once I noticed that I can make that change on my own, go in there and do that, I've never looked back. It's like it works so good, and it makes the game so much more playable. I honestly don't even know how I played with it like before.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. As far as other options they added, they fixed some bugs where a few landscape areas that were barely below floor height before. This sometimes caused the majority of your structure to appear underground. So thank you for doing that.
You.
Players
There's still some areas that need some work, but At least we've noticed the problem.
Right.
We're making adjustments.
So there's quite a bit of like bug fixes where if the client was crashing, they fix those due to audio cues or lobby screen issues. Some UI fixes that they fixed as well, including the HUD. Removed an unnecessary button prompt on the left side of the news widget. Quality of life things. A lot of those. Some audio bugs as well. That they fixed. I didn't even realize that the TVs in the living rooms had the static playing on them, but they removed that audio for some reason. So that's gone. They removed through-step audio from.
Well, because it was annoying. Duh.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to shoot people. I was like, it was static. I was like, unsubscribe.
You might be too close to the television. If. They removed footstep audio from the dance emotes, and they fixed a directional audio issue when another player switches to a shotgun, which this is huge, okay? Because I always was like, David, was that your shotgun? That you?
Right.
Because it sounded like somebody else. But now they've fixed that issue where it doesn't sound like it's coming from another direction. If you're on my left, it sounds like it came from the left and not the right. So that's really good.
Yeah, they've made a lot of good audio changes lately.
They have
a lot of good ones. There's just overall it's a lot better for headphone users. Which, if you're playing this game without headphones, I don't understand.
Let's take a moment and thank the audio team. Audio team, thank you very much for your kindness to our eardrums.
Especially getting rid of the elephant-sounding people.
Man,
was that terrible when we first started playing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Clunk, 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 clunk.
My eardrums really want to thank the audio team for saving them, keeping them from ringing at night when we laid down after taking our headphones off for hours, and for all the years and kindness that you are going to be showing them. So thank you, audio team, for all that. Anyways, all right, so other things, they have a lot of known issues. Basically, look, they got it. You said it here earlier, players will receive the quest for Blitz mode, LTM, limited time mode. This mode is not currently available. And
we noticed.
We are working to remove this from available quests. Ta-da.
Appreciate that.
So if you have it, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. They are known. This is a known issue. Chests occasionally have no loot in them. Holy crap, I would be pissed. It hasn't happened to me, but I get it.
That's not happened to me either.
Sometimes the first weapon found cannot be equipped. I have seen this. I had it happen. I thought there was a patch that fixed this, but I guess it's still there. And you cannot open the pause menu if you go into the DBNO. For those out there, another definition: down but not out state while in a build mode. Look, lots of stuff coming. I'm not even going to say it. There's more Save the World stuff, but I'm not going to promise anything. Okay? I'm not going to do it this way.
Yeah? You don't want to promise Save the World show coming soon?
No, I'm not promising that. I would love to do it, but I've just been too busy.
Let's be real honest. We're not playing Save the World right now, guys.
Not a reality. Ton. Yeah, not a ton. I'm still logging in and getting my stuff, believe it or not.
I log into... I think the mode needs some help. And hopefully, we talked about Paragon closing last week. Not a great situation, obviously, but maybe with some of the extra help, they can get some extra work done on the PvE side of things. So people have bought it because of things that we said. I still stand by that it can be fun. It just wasn't. It's not for me, especially with Monster Hunter being out.
Well, let's be honest. That's what's happened. You found a better PvE experience currently. So
yeah. So I look forward to them improving it, and we'll definitely do more of that show when time calls for it.
Yeah, for sure. And we might jump on and talk a little bit about what our issues are and stuff like that. Whenever we get a chance, sorry. I'm like, seriously, we've been meaning to do that, but we haven't. So I'm not going to promise it, but you might see a show just pop up during the week, 1 week here. I want to jump over real quick to the shooting test. The last thing Eric mentioned as he signed off from here. But Eric did mention the shooting test that they're running. I'm going to give you the cliff notes of the patch notes of the shooting test number one notes. Okay, so this is the
Sounds
shortest
good.
version you're gonna ever get. The goal here is pistol sniping. Number one is pistol sniping at long range should not be possible. Goal number two, our weapons should have characteristics that encourage a wide range of engagement based on. Let me widen my screen here. Based on
wide range of. Let me widen my. I see what you did there. Very nice.
Yeah. Distance,
Planned, right? You
Yeah.
planned that.
Yeah. Distance to a target, target type, and ammo availability, etc. Okay. So basically, one of our favorite things about Fortnite Battle Royale is choosing how to engage another player, whether that's building cover or closing the gap, dropping from above or sneaking around, or just going in guns blazing. Unfortunately, it can be frustrating when those plans are disrupted by a shot that randomly misses your target. Can we all agree that it's happened to all of us?
Yes.
Right? It is super frustrating, especially when your reticle is right on them and they aren't moving and you still miss them. To attempt to address this concern, we've been prototyping a few different approaches to the shooting model. Those prototypes include, number one, first shot accuracy. Thank you. Number two, perfect accuracy plus recoil. Note, some of you might have seen videos online. An early version was accidentally turned on a while back. Oops. The first prototype we are ready to test in the first shot is the first shot accuracy. And in many ways, this version is very similar to our current experience. However, there are a few changes. Number one, weapons now have the first shot accuracy indicated by a red glow on the reticle. This is applied when standing still, aiming, not hip firing, and aim spread is at peak accuracy. Basically, if you haven't fired recently, it is different per weapon. Okay. Headshot critical hits have been reduced. So shotguns are. Wow. Are you ready for this, David?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys are. You might have to pull over if you are. If you share any feelings with Nolxero, if you're driving, please pull over before I release this information to you, so you can scream and clap or do whatever you want to do without wrecking in anyone. If you're at work and you have your headphones in, please don't scream too loud like a girl. If you are a girl, please don't scream too loud and hurt somebody next to you. But shotguns are now 150% damage. Was 250.
Okay, I like that.
You like that, don't you? You like that.
I do.
That's making you happy. Yeah. And how about all other weapons with headshot crits are now 200 damage, was 250. Dude, this is huge because everybody, especially when you talk about the pump shotgun, right? The critical hits, how you're down in like one hit. It was 250% damage, okay? Now it's only 150% damage.
I like it.
That's huge. That's huge. Let's applaud that change already. We haven't even tested it, but I'm gonna applaud it. Clap your knees together if you're driving. Damage fall off has been introduced for some weapons, so damage applies at 100% to a fixed range. A fall off begins at different ranges depending on the weapon, decreases to 70% damage. Sniper rifles, rockets, grenade launchers, and shotguns are unaffected by this. Other balance adjustments is semi-auto snipers. Sniper has been damaged. That little broken English there. It's not actually my reading this time, believe it or not. But the auto sniper is damage increased to 75/78 from 63 to 66. And then scoped assault rifles has had its damage increased to 25/26. And it was 23/24. And plus 2 base damage for all SMGs. So SMGs are getting boosts as well, which is nice. Basically,
SMGs need some love.
Basically, he closes it with, everyone should feel encouraged to give this test a try. Win or other stats will count while playing this mode. Our intent is to run multiple shooting tests, and we'll begin gathering the data from many different sources, internal analytics, community sentiments, and various social platforms. Your participation is key. We want to be confident that what we have is better for the community across all platforms and skill levels. And we'll be listening to the Fortnite Community Podcast. Whoa, wow, thanks, Eric. That's incredible. Thanks so much.
That's really nice. I really appreciate that.
No, but seriously,
we told him he didn't have to do that.
But seriously, Eric, thanks so much for that. We really do appreciate the notes and you guys and all the updates you do give us. This is really encouraging. And this is to reiterate, this is a limited time mode, a LTM. So this is not going to be all of a sudden you're going to jump on one day and these fixes are going to take place. It's going to be something that they're going to try out, hear from us. I think you referred to it in the past as a PSD, Nolxero, right?
What?
Didn't you say, like, what do they call it on PC when they do this? PSD?
No, the public test realm.
Yeah.
PTR.
PTR, that's what it is. PSD.
Yeah, you said PSC. You lost me on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Whatever it is. The other notes, the other abbreviations out there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the PTR. So this is similar to that, but for console. Obviously, they couldn't do that, so they're just putting it as a limited time mode for everybody across all platforms.
Yeah, I really applaud that because typically these things go out to PC and console just has to deal with, whatever comes out. Like, okay, well, this is what the test showed on PC, so
we've actually covered other
PS4
games
and all that,
where
right?
they made changes because of the PC realm and they affected the console realm and actually affected them negatively. So this is really cool that they're, like you said, giving the option to see how it works out on all the platforms.
Right. Absolutely.
Super excited about it. So that's that. Obviously, guys, you can check out all those notes and everything else, more info. You can find it at Fortnite.com and just check on the news tab there. You can see all the latest update. Let's go ahead and talk real quick about our minigun experience, David.
Okay.
Probably the funnest we've had finishing a game and getting a victory royale out in a while was when we both had miniguns, jumping off jump pads and doing whatever you were doing over there by somehow living with 5 people around you and mowing them all down with 2 miniguns.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was the first game I played with the minigun. Troy was telling me how awesome it was. We both got miniguns, and then get to finish the very first game that I used the minigun with me and Troy mowing down everything in sight with miniguns. It was freaking awesome.
It was a blast, man. It really was. And like, I don't feel like the gun's overpowered. I feel like it's in a really good balanced state. But when you said to me, you're like, dude, it has no reload. Like, I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't even think about that when I was shooting it. Like,
right.
I was waiting for that moment it was going to make me reload, but it didn't make me.
That was the first thing I noticed too. Is like, as soon as I went to shoot, I was like, okay, this is an awesome gun. What's the reload going to be like on this thing? And then I realized, like, oh my god, it does not have a clip. You get to fire all of your small ammo forever. Like,
yeah. So if you like small ammo and you collect it like we do, even when you don't have a small ammo item, now you will have that item more than likely at the end of the game.
Now I make sure I pick up small ammo because of this gun. I'm like, before you might pop open a door and you're like, what's in there? A revolver and some small ammo? I don't need it. Now I'm like, I need the ammo. Taking that.
I know. And I also feel like the games we played with it and we actually used it at the end of the game, it was a pretty strong in-game item.
Yeah, it's really good for bases because if you don't have rockets, you don't have grenades or grenade launcher, this gives you an alternative to taking down bases. Because, man, everybody can feel those pains whenever you've been in that moment where you're in final circle and, the last 6 people are based up and you just got in there because you've been, running from storm the whole game. And you're like, well, great. Now everybody's based up and I'm at disadvantages. I don't have explosives. What do I do? Well, if you have a minigun, you can always minigun them down.
Not only that, I feel like it provides a little better solution for like someone that has a ton of material and you're sitting there, maybe you have the upper hand on them, but they just keep building that wall as you're shooting it down.
Yeah, I think it puts a lot of pressure, especially on like down people.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone gets a snipe and you're being able, able to take down walls. And not only that, but like me and you've used tactics where it's like you knock a wall or I knock a wall and get that snipe the moment the wall falls.
Yeah, that actually happened. That was really cool. Yeah. I mean, I really like it. And like you said, especially for bases, like you come to the end and someone's got a little base built in the air, man, you start shooting that thing at the beginning, especially they got a big old base, start, taking out you can take out their base real quick so that thing falls. You know what I mean? In the base of their structure. And that is a really cool aspect that I think more and more people are coming aware of. That's really neat to use. And besides, just pushing them or blowing them up with rockets or whatever. This is a really good solution.
I agree 100%.
So I think the fire rate is really cool with it, how quick it shoots. It only takes a second for it to work up. I love that you don't have to reload it. I think it's a really cool use of small ammo as well, right? To encourage people to pick that loot up, to not just pass it by. I think it solves a lot of problems because it solves that issue where, especially in squads, where sometimes you felt like you're suppressing, but, one of your teammates like you, Nolxero, runs up there and for some reason, like, they're already up, right? They already got the 2 guys up. We already dropped and, we weren't able to keep enough pressure on them because we're running out of ammo or we didn't have any more AR ammo or whatever the case is, or the rockets, they just keep building the wall. Like this really provides another level of the game and pushing it. And
well, it really helps out with your medium ammo issues. Like medium ammo can be an issue for anybody. We've all been there, right? Not been able to keep enough medium ammo in stock. And this kind of helps alleviate that a little bit because you have another tool for the job.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And like I said, besides the fact that we liked how like it fits in the game, but it performs fantastically. Like you crouching, like if you pulse firing it, like you can hit somebody from a pretty good distance. Like medium to short range, it's pretty incredible at hitting somebody. Like you can be pretty spot on because it's shooting.
It's pretty scary though too. Like because you start getting hit by it, even if they're just holding it down. It's like you don't know how many rounds they have, and they don't have to reload. So you have options to either shoot at them or take cover, but they don't have to reload. And you can try to take your shots, but you know that there's no end in sight for that firing to stop. So I don't know. It's an interesting weapon. I really like the way that they did it because obviously miniguns have been in games, but the way they did it was just so good.
Mm-hmm. It
was
was
no reload. It's not like unwieldy. Like some games they have LMGs where it's like, it's nice, but man, it kind of fires everywhere and it's really hard to control and stuff. Like, and that's not an issue here.
Yeah.
So, well implemented. I like it.
Well done, Epic. Well done. Well done. Well, another thing that's well done is the tips done by MonsterDFace. So let's go ahead and jump over to this week's tip and trick.
And you ask, do we have tips? Of course. And do we have tricks? Oh, yes, we do. So listen up.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I bring you MonsterDFace with the last tip from his How to Win More Gunfights #1 video we've been breaking down for the past 3 weeks. This is week number 4, and this is the final tip on positioning.
Now let's talk about the last tip, positioning. I'm going to rewind the entire clip, and we're going to run it from the start. So pushing into my opponent, I'm only going to focus on my positioning. Positioning here means that I'm setting up for cover, I'm peeking my player, I'm making sure that I'm avoiding those grenade launchers. Avoiding the grenade launcher is so important. Grenade launcher is very dangerous. You don't want to be in one spot when fighting someone with a grenade launcher. Another big tip for position outside of just keeping the pressure on your opponent so you can move comfortably is making sure you are moving yourself. Don't forget that you are in a battle royale. There are players probably behind you. There are players in front of you. Obviously in this clip, there's about 4 or 5 players in Pleasant Park. Who would have known, right? So I'm constantly on the move. I'm not staying still at all. And even when I start getting engaged on, I'm making sure to apply counter pressure. Now notice how I position myself here. Yes, I am at the mercy of my opponent because I'm below him, but I decide to disengage to reposition so I can get on height advantage with him. Once he notices I disengage, he also disengages. It's because he knows that I know what I'm doing and I know how to play my comfort zone. So putting myself face to face, I put that player down. So when it comes down to position, put yourself in the comfortable area where you feel good to fight. Typically that is either face-to-face level or at the very least above your opponent, so that way you can have the most dominant position and also have cover at the same time.
All right, so 3 main things I want everybody to grab out of that in positioning is obviously building your cover, right? Engaging what we talked about the first week, and building your cover there. Number 2, Nolxero, something me and you've been working on and doing. You do a lot better than I do, and we've been pushing each other to do it more together, is continually move, right? Move. And he talks about this, like there's people all around you constantly. This is Battle Royale. Don't forget, this is Battle Royale. Don't just sit around. And there's obviously more points to that, and we've brought them up a few times, but like, and I know you preach this all the time, like, let's go, let's move.
Yeah, it's not safe. And I watched someone's video on YouTube a while back where they said you should always move around the map as if someone has you in the reticle of their sniper. Because a lot of times that's exactly the situation you're faced with.
Right. Yeah. You don't even know it. So, and the last part to that positioning tip was disengaging, right? And me and Nolxero, we play a lot together. We talk about it a lot. And there's things that I'm better at than he is, and he's better at than I am. He's way better at being aggressive and moving than I am, and I'm way better at disengaging and dropping back than he is. But
yeah, I'm not a disengager.
But this is part of the tip, right? Is positioning yourself. And sometimes that requires moving, and sometimes that requires disengaging and resetting up and playing to your advantages, as MonsterDFace says. So just remember that, guys. If you're looking at, it's like, man, I'm building, I'm engaging, I'm moving. What am I doing wrong? Why do I keep losing these fights when I get to like into circle or the last 20 people or these really good guys that seem to be good players? What am I doing wrong? What can I do different? And maybe throw that idea out there next time you die, or next time you're laying in bed trying to go to sleep at night because you can't do it because you lost 2 final victory royales as second place because you made a bad idea. Yes, that has never happened to us before. A few 100 times. But if you're thinking about that, like, think about disengaging, like backing up, in that fight, rethinking your approach, relooking at, hey, what do I have here? What are my resources? What angles can I take? What advantages does that player have over me right now? And I think learning those and processing that, continually evaluating your stuff is what you want to do. So, thank you once again, MonsterDFace, for that. Guys, go check him out, MonsterDFace, on YouTube, and amazing stuff. He's got amazing tips, and he's going to be here with us next week, so make sure you guys are checking that out. Well, let's jump over to our last section of the podcast, our Fortnite Reddit.
I'm going to tell the world.
Fortnite Reddit is the place to be for videos and memes and efficacy.
Ooh, look at my post.
Fortnite Reddit is the place to be for videos and memes and efficacy.
On the show, Epic.
Fortnite and Fortnite BI.
All right, so this kind of goes back to one of the things we talked about earlier, keeping the community healthy, things like that. And Reddit's a great place to go voice your opinion. And the Reddit guys, moderators, do a great job of like people that are just, there to slam Epic and not really give positive, good feedback. Obviously, they are good at keeping those posts away and making sure that, people that can be heard and want to be seen and make a good point, that they are on top. Well, this week, and as I speak of this today, which is Super Bowl Sunday, and we're recording late at night, is that Epic, there's one from Cheesy Dreamer. It's the top post on Reddit right now, and it says, Epic, get your SHIT together. And it says, downvote me to hell. I don't care. Epic, please fix these blankety blank servers before focusing on adding anything else. I'm sure I'm not the only one tired of the consistent server downtime rant over. Bam. He edited it for one edit for wording and edit number 2. No, I am not hating on Epic. I think they are doing an amazing job on listening to the community. I just think that they need to rethink their priorities. So obviously, this is the community speaking out. We have another one here from TwoLoud, who basically says the same thing. Can we all agree that Epic should take a break on content and focus on fixing the game? I understand the game is still in early access and there are bugs, but when you guys are just rolling out patch left and right, center, with more and more bugs, each patch is getting frustrating. Right now, the chests aren't giving loot. I get no crosshairs, which Nolxero, this happened to you. The crosshair situation.
Yeah, really stupid, really annoying.
When fighting sometimes, the building feels way slower since switching back. Obviously, and he goes on, he just says, I guess the new patches have been decent minus all the bugs coming with it. So look, both these things, one saying servers, one saying the bugs, similar issues. As far as the servers go, I would say they came out and basically what they were saying is they're moving a bunch of stuff over. That's why they had a really tough time with the servers. Obviously,
I think
community has spoken
the one
and
thing
they
that
agree.
is being lost here is that every single patch that comes out is filled with bug fixes. It's not like they're just sitting there adding content on content and content and saying, hey, screw you. We don't care it's broken. And I hate to sound like white knighting for Epic. Like, I get it. But it's not like they're just bringing out a bunch of crap and never fixing anything.
Right.
Some stuff happens when you patch.
Well, and like I said, as far as the servers go, like the whole reason it was down so long is because they were moving stuff over to servers, like better servers, and moving things over to make it a better solution, right?
Right.
So it wasn't like they uploaded an update and the servers crashed and like, oh, well, suck it. Like, we'll just get them back up and running, but we're not going to worry about strengthening them. No, like, they're strengthening them. They're trying to do that. I mean, trust me. If they're not, like, I agree. They need to check it out. Because if they weren't doing that, and they have 40 million players and 2 million concurrent players, it might not stay that way very long. But I'm telling you, they are working on it, and they've said it multiple times. So, here we go. And like Nolxero said, as far as the bugs go, looks like they're doing it. We definitely agree. These bugs are there. Those things are existing.
And they're annoying.
And they suck.
I don't disagree, but I don't know. I just think it's funny when people say certain things about it, like say it in a certain way where it's like, oh, fix the game. It's like, well, the game's not broken. It's definitely playable.
Yeah.
You should see, I mean, for anybody here that didn't play PUBG, when it got nominated for Game of the Year last year, excuse me?
Yeah. No, I mean, we all saw what happened when it came out on Xbox. And look, you have your right to complain. We're not saying don't.
For sure.
Like Reddit, the reason why I read these from Reddit is because these are hot topics on Reddit right now. So if you guys want to get involved and join in on the conversation and, bring your pitchfork and your flame, feel free to go there and do that. Like Epic listens here and they hear you on this. And so that's why we pinpoint Reddit every week, is because we want you guys to hear like what's the community talking about, what's going on over there, because Reddit drives a lot of video games nowadays, because a lot of strong communities stand there and provide good constructive feedback. And although, sometimes wording things a certain way aren't ideal on there, if your point is respectful, they still get it and they see it, and that's what's going on over at the Reddit. So go join in on the conversations, give your feedback. As we said, we're not trying to like a white knight Epic here. But the underlining thing to it is two sides of every story is they are trying to. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that is feeling the frustrations. Like, I just want to make sure they've stated that they're addressing these issues and they're trying to get over it. And so that's why we bring it up, so that the countering to the argument. Anyhow, all right. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for freaking listening to our voices and our production for another week. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope we continue to bring you guys tons of guests Tons of feedback. This week we didn't have anybody scheduled. Parties, Super Bowl Sunday. I watched the game. Nolxero was hanging out with his family, having a good time. So we didn't want to put anything down on paper exactly for today. So we did have a guest this week, but we will be back next week and the following week with guests and more community people coming in the doors, swinging through these studios. But we hope you guys enjoyed the show with just me and Nolxero. Leave us some feedback. Leave your complaints at FortnitePodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a review on iTunes and leave us a review on Podbean and give us your feedback there as well. Tell us what you like and what you dislike about the show. And we promise we will do our best to adjust and change to what you guys are enjoying. You can follow us on Twitter at Fortnite Podcast. So please do that, actually. I don't say this very much, but if you want to follow us on Twitter, we try to pinpoint like community people more so than just retweet news all the time. Funny memes, things like that. Things that, obviously are Fortnite related. And people in the community maybe that are streaming or something. Maybe you're a streamer. Hey, tweet at us. We'll retweet it for you. Obviously, you're just looking there to build a community. And Twitter's a great place to do it. So at Fortnite Podcast, follow me on Twitter, TwoLoudTX and Nolxero, Nolxero. And if you guys want to play with us, make sure if you're playing on the PS4, you come and hang out with us at the Fortnite Community Podcast community on PlayStation 4. Make sure you check out the Reddit pages. reddit.com/r/Fortnite BR in Fortnite, and also MonsterDFace. Thank you once again for your tips and tricks. And final goodbye, Eric Williamson. Thank you so much for the final update there in January into February. We look forward to hearing from you many more times, and you're welcome to come on the show anytime you would like. It's an open invitation for you. Well, until next time, guys, make sure you dance out those kills and boast in those victory royales.